Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where we don't say it, dear darling, don't say those fabled words. We're vibing out as per usual. No, the cursed words, which I start every video with nowadays. But no, I mean we are sort of relaxing. It hasn't occurred to me, but I haven't actually done a Happy in Paradise customization for a while. I'm not really sure if I'll do them this weekend, to be honest, but maybe next weekend. We'll see how things go. Actually, I might have to do them next weekend. I might be busy next weekend. Oh yeah, that's true. So, maybe I have to record them in advance. Or maybe I don't. I don't really know. Who knows? Anyway, good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 8:50 PM on Friday, April 28, 2023. Celeste is here to do some stargazing. Okay, so we can actually do a little bit of nighttime sky watching. So that will always be a little bit fun. Well, no, I don't really know what to talk about, to be honest. Should we pluck a random conversation out of nowhere? Carrot juice, what's your take on carrot juice? Yay or nay? I always think back to the fact that a viewer just commented the fact that it's like, for someone who doesn't actually care that much about like food and stuff, you talk about food quite a lot. That's very true. Maybe I should talk about something else, but carrot juice, I've got the prompt in my mind. This is kind of what you had to deal with. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think about the fact there's so many sort of like I don't want to say like healthy juices, because I feel like that's a bit of a loaded term in the first place, because I think a lot of people have a conception that juice is quite healthy in the first place, which, it's probably healthier than a lot of things, to be honest, but it's not like it's not like the beacon of healthiness or anything. It's got a lot more sugar in than people, I think, realise. To be fair, natural sugars, compared to things like corn syrup or whatever, but still. It's not something which should just, be brushed under the radar. I'm sort of doing like the thing where you fuse two phrases together, aren't I? Yeah, but I feel like, especially within the past 10 years or so, there's been a real sort of like uptick in these sort of like healthy juices, And I suppose I always sort of like call upon the Wagamamas, which is, I don't know if it's a chain everywhere, but it's at least very much a British. Well, it's not a British. Well, I mean, I guess it's a British chain, but it's a Japanese food chain. In Britain. I did not mean to just move a plant by one, but whatever. I suppose we'll just have to deal with it. Yeah, it's a British food chain. It's reasonably popular, I'd say. It's sort of like I'm not gonna say it's like a go-to, but it's a large chain in the first place. So it's sort of like I'm not going for like quality Japanese or whatever food. Most of it's Japanese, to be fair, but you're very much going for the fact that it's cheap, it's successful, it's got kind of things which most people are not going to really, turn down. So, it's got not worldwide appeal, but wide appeal in the first place. But Wagamama's has a very big selection of, well, I shouldn't say very big, it's more like 8 drinks or something, of like these health drinks, there's like these like health booster drinks or whatever. Whether they actually boost your health or not, I don't particularly know. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not even going to pretend I know the first thing really about any sort of in-depth nutrition. But I forgot what I was going with this. Yeah, but I don't know. It's sort of like there's an uptick of them. Things like kale. There's one called like a green. It's not called green juice, but they're all called like Energize or things like that. But one has like kale, spinach. They all have like a base of apple juice, to be honest, because you kind of need a base the same way. Like if you need wild ice cream flavors, you kind of need to have vanilla as a base, otherwise you've got nothing to work with. I would argue, but well, maybe not. I would argue. I'm not really. What's that person who makes ice cream called? Gelatinist? No, it doesn't sound right. Excuse me. Yeah, but there's been a real sort of like uptick in these sort of like healthy, like, if they're not fruit drinks, because it's not like spinach or kale is particularly fruit, it's a leafy vegetable, I suppose, these drinks in the first place, which I don't really have anything against. You would have thought that would lead into me having a tirade, just being like, what's the point of these people are just trying to get like healthy points without actually putting in the work to be healthy. No, I mean, most of them are pretty nice, to be honest. I don't know if you ever had them. they just taste like, just like a juice, but with a different flavour. How else can I put it particularly? I suppose if you basically only have a sweet tooth, then maybe you'll be like, yeah, I still prefer things like mango or lychee or whatever. I'm trying to think of like really really sweet juices. But if you want the taste of something different, have a bit of a kale smoothie. Have a little bit of spinach in there. Toss some greens in there and whatnot. We need more colours of fruits, by the way. You ever think about that? What green fruits are there? You know, you've got green grapes, you've got green apples. That's kind of it. Pears. I forgot about pears. Which I only remember because we passed a pear. But there's a lot of fruit. You know, blue, a severely underrated, you know, like severely not well represented fruit colour, I think. What we got blueberries, and that's basically it. I don't even know any other blue fruits that I can think of. At least very common ones. I'm sure there's always very obscure ones, because you might be like, oh, you know, magenta or something. Like, what fruits do we have? And we'll have like snozzberries or something from. And you might be like, is that a Roald Dahl reference? And I'm like, yes, I'm very well read. I don't know where I'm going with this conversation. But yeah, there's also this, there's like ginger shots, which, I mean, they're not really like drinks per se, they are shots in the end, which I assume healthy for you in some form or another. Look, like, I have two conflicting sides within me when I hear about these sort of things. Because on one hand, they almost sound like pseudoscience in a sense, where people are just like, oh, and not antioxidants, as if they're not a thing, but like, ooh, they flush out your toxins or whatever and have you, or they're like for like cleansing, etc., etc. You know, the way that they present themselves sometimes. I'm not saying like these ones in particular, but sometimes you hear about them. You know, you're just sort of like, you know, that's just not how things work. Or maybe they are how things work. I could be completely ignorant, I suppose. You know, you always got to leave in a little bit like sort of elbow room, just to make sure that you understand how little you actually know as a person. And by you, I mean the rhetorical you, by which I mean me. So, but it almost sounds like, you know, the same way that people might talk about astrology, that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to talk about, I suppose, in that sense, but it's not something you should necessarily base important decisions on, or it's something to take particularly far more seriously than it is. But on the other hand, it's like, how wrong could they be, you know, when they say things like, you know, even if it's not the exact terminology which should be used, or maybe exact use purposes, at the end of the day, they are still like healthy food items, right? Being put into a drink. And it's like, it's not like it's doing any wrong. So I suppose as I get older, I sort of veer to that side a bit more, being like, if it doesn't hurt anyone and doesn't hurt you, then, or doesn't hurt you in a way that you're not consciously aware of it, but fully aware of the ramifications, then go for it, I say. But even that is not a hard and fast rule, because, you know, life is full of exceptions and intricacies which cannot be particularly captured in, you know, only finitely many words. Well, that's probably not true, I suppose, because, you know, the universe is finite. Now I think about it, just by definition, that is false. There's only so many atoms in the universe. Of course, I'm going on like really like wild tangents today, aren't I? So like, what's my favourite like health drink I think I've had? I'm going to be honest, carrot juice, pretty good. I mean, it's tempting to say tomato juice, but tomato juice is like legit is a thing anyway. Like even before, I feel like the uptick of like healthy sort of drinks and whatnot, especially very popular on airlines and like up in when you're flying, because I believe it's something like the way your tastes get sort of like diminished, I think, while you're in high altitudes or something, tomato juice tastes better. I can't really remember, it's sharper, or the sourness is not as apparent. I don't really remember the details of it, so you had to forgive me that I don't know, but I'm sure you can look it up yourself if you were really that way inclined. Where was I going with all of this? Kale drinks, like, I'm gonna be honest, even though I don't really care that much about food about something, kale's not really my favourite leafy veg. You know, that if anything, kale's probably near the bottom of like my leafy veg like tier list. I think it's just a bit bitter for me, to be honest. It's not like the most bitter like vegetable in the world, especially when things like bitter melon exists. It's kind of hard to compete, I suppose, in that avenue. But we do have coconuts. Okay, let's go pay a visit to the crafting bench. It's just, I don't know, but the taste is not, it's neither appealing nor unappealing. It's like mildly unappealing, I would say, which is weird, because I mean, even when I was younger, well, okay, I shouldn't say that, but when I was like about teenager onwards, I was never really particularly bothered by vegetables. When I was younger, there were some vegetables I certainly wouldn't eat, like I'm trying to think, there was a lot like Chinese vegetables, so I was like, ugh, you know, bai cai or things like that. Nowadays I'll just be like, yum. Well, I'm not sure if yum is really the right word. It's not just like, I'm still human after all. I'm still just like, oh, you know, if you give me like one chicken nugget, I'll be like, man, this chicken nugget is delicious. As soon as you give me like more than 5, I'm just like, I can leave at that point. Not saying that chicken nugget has like universal appeal, but, you know, equivalent sort of things. These sort of things, these sort of foods in general, which are sort of specifically designed, I suppose, to exploit your human weakness of liking certain types of food, hey? But in general, you know, I do like quite a lot of vegetables, to be honest. Like, as I was saying, you know, carrot juice makes a good juice, to be honest. If I was introducing more juices, I would be totally for it. What other sort of vegetable juice? I don't even think I've tried broccoli juice, which is weird to say because, you know, broccoli is definitely one of my favourite vegetables. I would say onion juice, not a thing I've ever heard of, but yeah, actually, now I think about it, why isn't onion juice more of a thing? I guess because it's so, like, sort of pungent in the first place. People don't really want to eat, you know, or drink onions, like onion puree. It's a bit sharp and could be a bit sour, could be a bit sweet. Or I don't know, because I feel like sweet things translate quite well to each sort of drinks. I wonder if sweet is the most sort of like universal appealing flavour for people. I have nothing to base that off of. We need to go find Celeste. Okay, before I was going to do radio exercises, let's find Celeste first, because there might be a meteor shower, but Celeste is important because she could have a recipe which we don't have. I forgot where I was going with this, to be honest. Yeah, but like we like super healthy smoothies or whatever. I don't not smoothies in general, but you know what I mean. Like health juices. If anything, I think we should be more efficient with these health juices. Is that Celeste? No, that's Celeste. Oh, that's Celeste. There we go. We should be more efficient with these health juices. You know, anything should just be put in like to health. You know, within reason. You know, just have your guided daily amount in smoothies throughout the day. You know, you gotta have some meat, cook it up, put it in a blender, and then you know it will feel like it's a lot, despite the fact it's not, because you just have it in smaller portions and larger quantities. Mum's wand. So that probably suggests to me we actually have the zodiac item for this month. What zodiac month are we in? Let me think. Aries is... We might be Aries. Capricorn is... Capricorn? What's after Capricorn? Aquarius. Pisces. We're in Taurus now, aren't we? I'm not sure. Oh, it's literally that sort of mum's wand. Not like it's chrysanthemum mum, not mother mum. I was like, how else can you say mum without saying mum? Which now I think about it, this game probably uses an American translation. Well, actually, it doesn't, because we have a PAL version, which definitely uses a European translation. But like I've never heard chrysanthemums called mums, to be honest. But I guess I'm not really part of a floral community, so what have I got to say? And the answer for that is nothing. But health juices. Like, have you ever made your own sort of like health juice, spinach smoothie or whatever? Like spinach, I'm going to be honest, I don't think it needs to be made into a smoothie. Spinach is pretty good on its own. Spinach is sort of like the golden vegetable in the sense that it really goes with so many different things. You know, you can like make any sort of meal. You're like, oh, I don't have enough leafy greens in it, or greens in general. Pop some spinach in that bad boy. It will probably fit. And even better, spinach very high in iron content. Which, if anything, maybe I should eat less spinach. Now I think about it. And not that I really eat like droves of spinach or anything like that, but if you don't know that, biologically, I have, for whatever reason, I just have like high iron content in my blood. Why? I've genuinely got no idea. I just do. Even the doctors don't know, which is wild to say, but it's not adversely affecting me as far as I know. I'm not sure if I mentioned this after I donated blood, but I swear I read somewhere. It's basically like people with high iron in their blood can feel like after they've donated blood, we can like feel a notable difference with our blood. I remember speaking to people about it, being like, "Can you feel your blood?" And they were like, "No," and I was like, maybe we're onto something, or maybe it's in my head. I don't really know. But yeah, spinach in general, I think it's almost like a waste to put it in like a smoothie or juice, you know. I feel like the point of making these juices and smoothies is that they're very sort of like digestible, tasteable, consumable item, in a sense that not only for your convenience, but for the fact that when you blend everything up, you can sort of like impart your own tastes that you want onto a juice, rather than having to individually eat it, or you can bypass texture entirely, you know. And spinach is one of the very sort of like, I feel, unassuming vegetables where its taste is not particularly sort of like, you know, controversial. It's not like Brussels sprouts or like green peppers. You might be like, or broccoli. why do all the controversial ones that would be? And you might be like, why are you saying that? Did you know that the equivalent of broccoli in America, you know, the stereotypical vegetable which children hate, is Brussels sprouts, I would say, in the UK, and it's green peppers over there, or bell peppers, I suppose, in Japan. Which is interesting, because I remember when I was younger, there was this Powerpuff Girls episode where basically I can't remember who it is, like turned things into like broccoli because like kids weren't eating enough like healthy food. I remember watching it being like, I don't get it, like why wouldn't you eat broccoli? And the way they defeated the enemy was eventually just covering it with cheese and just eating broccoli cheese. And at the time I watched it, which was like 3 or 4, I was like, I don't understand, like what's wrong with broccoli? Now the UK sort of like reviled, at least from what I heard, maybe times are different or times are changing. The generic sort of reviled vegetable, I suppose, for kids in the UK is very much Brussels sprouts, which is weird because I guess it's because it's mostly had through roasts, which is why I didn't have that much exposure to it when I was growing up. It's not like I had roasts all the time, but roasts is a very sort of British food. Maybe that's why it just sort of like appears in roasts, and it's sort of like the worst part of a roast, which I don't know, I found like debatable. Roasted Brussels sprouts are very delicious. I would say boiled Brussels sprouts are very boring. Like I would say if you're going to boil a leafy vegetable like that, you might as well just like boil cabbage or something. Brussels sprouts are just surprisingly bitter, I suppose, for their size. But yeah, what other sort of like fruit health drinks have I had? I will be honest, when I'm out in restaurants about something, it's not really the thing I order. Sometimes I'll have it for like meal deals. But I can't remember who I was with at some point, but I had like a meal deal or something, and I bought like normally. I talked about meal deals before, so if you're confused, you can go see that episode. But normally, the drink I buy with a meal deal would be like innocent smoothie, like one of their juices or that sort of thing. I remember my friend being like, or the person I was with, just trying to be like, oh, you know, trying to be healthy or that sort of thing. And I remember in my mind, I was like, huh? Not like in a dismissive way, but like I didn't realize this had as much of a reputation, I suppose, for trying to be like a health drink or whatever. I'm not saying it's unhealthy. It's certainly a lot better than I'd imagine, like Coke or that sort of thing. But I guess it's because I never really drink fizzy drinks in the first place. It never really crossed my mind. So it's sort of just like, this is the most unhealthy thing I could have got. If I wanted something healthy, I would have just got water. Speaking of water, let me have a sip of a bit, because you got to stay hydrated and all that. Anyway, the long and short of it is healthy drinks, yeah, fine, I would say. If you like them, have them. If you don't, then don't, I guess. There wasn't really much to the end of that sentence, but still. It's sort of thing where like I'm not particularly against them. And this is like a really stupid reason, I think, for liking them as well. It's like I kind of like the variety of did we go to Harvey's Island today? I don't think we did. Variety of like colours which fruit juices can now come in, Green was a very sparse one, very uncommon one. Now we just need a common sort of like healthy blue juice. Because red juice, you got tomatoes, you got strawberry juice. Strawberry juice I would say is not all that common, but still. Orange, obviously orange. Yellow, you got like bananas, tropical, pineapple juice, all of these sort of thing. I don't know why banana was the first thing that came to mind. That's not very common either. Green, you basically only had kind of green apple, but even green apple doesn't look very green. It kind of looks like a palish yellowy green. Now, kale juice, boom, or spinach. Blue, you only have blueberry juice, but I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen blueberry juice. Blueberry juice, how common is it? And it probably looks a lot more like dark purple in the first place. Yeah, it does. I've seen black currant, I guess, but there's not really any blue juices. But there's not really many. Blue doesn't occur in nature all that much in plant life, does it? Or like edible plant life. Weird. And when you got for purple, you got like your grape juice, your blackcurrant juice, pink. I don't even know what sort of pink juices you got. Maybe that's one we need more representation for. But anyway, I'm going to round this episode of here, I think. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now. Oh, wait. Bye-bye for now.